Have you ever been so close to someone that you felt like you'd become invisible in their eyes? You put in all the effort. You're the first to reach out. You're always there when they need you. Yet somehow, it seems the more you give, the less they notice. It's as if your presence has become just another fixture in their life, like a familiar streetlight they pass every night without a second glance. There but overlooked, constant but unnoticed. What if I told you that the key to making them crave you, to truly value your presence, lies not in doing more, but in embracing something entirely different? Instead of trying harder, being more available, or giving even more of yourself, the real secret is found in a radical change of approach. The power of selective absence. And it's simpler than you think. Why does absence have more power than presence? Imagine this. You're standing in a desert with nothing around but miles and miles of sand, and then you come across a single small oasis in that vast emptiness. The oasis is a lifeline, a glimmer of relief and comfort. But if oases were scattered all over, appearing every few feet, that single oasis would lose its meaning. It wouldn't stand out. Its value would disappear into the monotony of abundance. In relationships, we often become that endless desert oasis, constantly there, giving without pause, expecting appreciation in return. But the paradox is, the more we give, the less they appreciate us. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When others see us as a constant presence, we start to blend into the background of their lives. The answer, then, lies in allowing ourselves to become scarce, to create a void they'll feel, to become the oasis they stumble upon, not the one they walk past without noticing. Creating a space for curiosity to bloom. Curiosity is one of the most powerful emotional hooks, and when it's paired with uncertainty, it can be utterly magnetic. Think about a book you couldn't put down, not because you knew what would happen next, but because you didn't. In relationships, the same principle applies. We tend to crave what we don't fully understand, what we can't always predict. When you pull back and introduce an element of mystery, you create an emotional tension that pulls people in. Picture this. You're like a candle in a dark room. When that candle is always lit, its light is steady, but taken for granted. But if it flickers, casting shifting shadows, it becomes mesmerizing. People can't help but watch, waiting to see if it will go out or flare up again. They start to focus on the candle, appreciating its warmth, its glow, its very presence. That's what happens when you take a step back. By making yourself just a little less available, you become that flickering light in their life, something they can't ignore or fully understand, and in that flicker, they'll start to crave your presence. As Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. To cultivate true desire, you must let go of the constant need to give more. Instead, give less. Create spaces for curiosity to grow, for them to wonder and yearn. The unexpected power of embracing silence. When you're constantly reaching out, constantly sharing, constantly available, you remove the mystery and make yourself predictable. Think about it. Even the most beautiful song becomes background noise if it plays on repeat. But silence, on the other hand, can hold more power than any song. Silence is heavy. It leaves room for imagination, for thoughts, for questions. When you don't fill every moment with your words or presence, they're left with their own thoughts of you. In that silence, they begin to wonder, why haven't I heard from them? Imagine yourself as the moon on a quiet night. The moon is beautiful, rare, and mysterious. People look up and admire it precisely because it doesn't always reveal itself fully. Its phases keep us captivated because we know it will vanish only to return again. By pulling back, by giving space, you allow them to experience your presence the way we experience the moon's light, a treasured sight that lingers in memory long after it disappears from view, holding your own power without needing validation. Here's where Stoicism meets psychology. You reclaim your power by releasing the need for external validation. Marcus Aurelius taught that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you constantly need someone else to affirm your worth, you lose sight of the true source of power, your own self-perception. When you believe in your worth without needing their approval, you become undeniably attractive. You're no longer looking to them to complete you or fill a void. Instead, you become someone they long to be around, precisely because you're not grasping for their attention. Visualize a mountain, strong, immovable, standing tall. The winds may howl around it, storms may beat down, but the mountain doesn't sway, it doesn't bend or seek approval. It exists, powerful in its own right. And people are drawn to it because of that strength. When you embody that same quiet, steady confidence, you become a grounding force. People crave what they can't shake, what stands firm despite everything around it, giving a taste, then letting them chase. Think of your presence like a rare spice in a favorite dish, just enough to add intrigue, but not enough to overwhelm. You give them a taste, a hint of what your presence brings, and then you step back. By letting them feel your absence, you allow the value of your presence to rise naturally in their minds. Like a scarce resource, they'll start to feel its preciousness, realizing that they want it even more precisely because it isn't freely available. Seneca once said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." If you're always there, they expect you. They anticipate your messages, your presence. But when you step back, you shift that expectancy into appreciation. You become a prize, not a given. And in that shift, they start to see your worth, to crave the moments they once took for granted. This is your moment. By stepping back, by introducing a touch of absence, by allowing silence to fill the spaces you once filled, you let them feel the weight of your presence as it should be felt, not as background noise, but as a song they can't forget, a light they can't ignore, a treasure they can't replace. Embrace your own worth, reclaim your presence, and watch as they begin to crave what was once freely given. Now, before we dive deeper, let's set our minds right with a powerful affirmation. This isn't just a phrase, it's a reminder of your worth, of the power you hold when you step into the strength of your presence. When you believe in this affirmation, you're telling yourself and the world that you are valuable, irreplaceable, and that others will feel the difference the moment you choose to step back. So let's claim it. Let's make it real in our minds and hearts, and watch as others begin to crave what you bring. Here it is. I am the presence they crave. Write it down below in the comments. Say it out loud if you can. This is your truth, your strength. Don't just repeat the words, believe them. Let them sink in and shape the way you carry yourself, knowing that when you live with this confidence, people can't help but notice. They will feel your worth, your value, in every moment you're around. And if this video resonated with you, if it brought you even a little closer to seeing your true power, please give it a like. It means the world to us, knowing that our efforts to bring you life-changing, transformative content make a difference. And if you want more of this journey, more insights and tools to make others truly appreciate your presence? Subscribe to the channel. We're only just beginning, and there's so much more waiting for you. Number 1. The echo effect. Speak their language. Have you ever noticed how you feel an instant bond with someone who just gets you? It's that rare connection where you don't even need to explain yourself. They seem to resonate with every word, every emotion, every thought. When someone speaks your language, it feels like they're holding a mirror up to your soul, reflecting back your own values and ideas. In relationships, this powerful feeling of being deeply understood is magnetic. That's the essence of the echo effect. A subtle yet powerful technique that leaves others craving your presence because they feel you're speaking directly to the core of who they are. Imagine you're walking through a canyon, calling out and hearing your voice bounce back to you. That echo is familiar, comforting, and makes you feel connected to the vast, open space around you. When you use the echo effect, you become that familiar echo to someone else, mirroring their ideas, passions, and dreams. In a world that often feels like a crowded room of voices trying to be heard, being the one who echoes their deepest thoughts makes you unforgettable. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By reflecting back what others feel and value, you become the person who colors their world in a way that resonates. The art of subtle reflection. The echo effect isn't about flattery or empty words. It's about truly listening and connecting on a level that feels genuine. When they talk about something they're passionate about, a dream, a goal, or a belief, you reflect back that passion in a way that shows you truly understand. If they express excitement about a project, echo that excitement in your response. It's incredible how dedicated you are to that. I can see how much it means to you. This isn't just responding, it's speaking to what lies beneath their words. Think of yourself as a gentle lake reflecting the image of the sky above it. The lake doesn't try to change the sky or add anything extra. It simply mirrors what's there, creating a perfect reflection. When you become that lake for someone, reflecting back their values, dreams, and aspirations, they start to feel a deep connection to you. They crave your presence because being around you feels like looking into a mirror that shows them their best self. Building trust through understanding. When you genuinely echo someone's thoughts and beliefs, you create a bridge of trust. People naturally gravitate toward those who seem to get them without judgment or over-analysis. This is more than just agreeing with what they say. It's about finding the core of what they feel and resonating with it. Epictetus taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The echo effect taps into this principle by showing others that what they feel and value is already enough, that they don't need to prove themselves. They'll begin to crave your presence because with you, they feel validated and understood, a unique bond they'll seek out. Using the echo effect means becoming someone who speaks the language of their soul. It's as if you're the only person who sees the world through their eyes, the only one who feels the same rhythm of life that they do. And that's rare. Most people are too focused on expressing their own thoughts to take the time to truly understand others. By echoing their values, you're showing them that they're not alone, that there's someone who truly understands them. Just like a rare tune they can't get out of their head, they'll start to seek you out, craving that feeling of connection only you provide. Embrace the echo effect and watch the difference. Now think of this. What if, instead of trying to prove yourself, you became the echo of their thoughts, creating a subtle, powerful bond they can't ignore? What if you listened, reflected, and made them feel like they're seen and understood on a level they can't explain? The echo effect isn't about being flashy or loud. It's about making others feel that in your presence, they've found something precious. They'll crave that feeling, and they'll keep coming back to you to experience it. Here's an affirmation to lock in this mindset. I am the echo of their thoughts, the presence they crave. Write it down in the comments to make it real. If this video inspired you, if you feel the power of truly connecting, please like the video. Your support means the world to us. And if you want more insights on becoming irresistible through subtle, powerful changes, subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started on this journey, and there's so much more waiting for you. Number 2, use micro-absences, leave them wanting more. Have you ever noticed that the most memorable songs are the ones with pauses? Those moments of silence, where the music fades for just a beat, make you listen more closely, holding your breath in anticipation. In relationships, those same pauses can create a powerful effect. When you're always around, always giving, people may come to expect your presence, even take it for granted. But when you introduce subtle, intentional absences, even just for moments, something intriguing happens. They start to feel your absence. They begin to notice, to wonder, to miss what you bring to their lives. This is the magic of micro-absences. Micro-absences are small, intentional breaks in your presence. They're not about disappearing for days or pulling away completely, but about creating tiny spaces that stir curiosity and desire. Think of it like the rhythm of waves on a shore. If the waves were constant, one after another, they'd fade into the background of our minds. But each time a wave pulls back, it creates a moment of calm, and in that space, we notice the water's beauty and power more intensely. By pulling back slightly, even for a few moments, you create a rhythm that draws others toward you naturally. And as Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy. When people always expect you to be there, they stop noticing your presence. Micro-absences disrupt that expectancy just enough to make them appreciate you more. It's like being the flicker of light in a dim room. When that light briefly fades, everyone notices, and they long for its return. The absence makes your presence all the more valuable. Imagine this in practice. Say you're in the middle of a conversation that's going well, but instead of carrying on endlessly, you gracefully wrap it up a bit early, leaving on a high note. Or perhaps you're the one who always sends the good morning text. But one day, you let the morning pass without reaching out. These moments are small, subtle, and may seem almost insignificant, but in the quiet left behind, they'll notice the difference. They'll find themselves checking their phone, wondering if you'll reach out. They'll think back on that last conversation, replaying the words, and wondering when they'll experience that same connection again. You've left a gap, a micro-absence, and they start to crave your presence because it's no longer a given. This approach isn't about manipulation. It's about being mindful of your value. When you're constantly available, the connection can become predictable. But when you give moments of absence, you become like a book they can't put down, each page revealing just enough to keep them wanting more. In that space, you're cultivating genuine appreciation. Creating these moments doesn't mean you're stepping back entirely. It means letting your presence breathe. Much like a fine perfume, sometimes it's the lingering scent that captivates people the most, not the full, overpowering fragrance. A well-timed absence can linger in their mind, making your presence felt even when you're not physically or actively there. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you allow them to feel your absence, their thoughts naturally turn to you, filling that space with wonder and desire. They begin to realize the quiet value of what you bring, and they start looking forward to the next moment they'll experience it. By giving them time to think of you, to feel your absence, you're helping them see your worth in a way that constant presence can't achieve. So, remember, sometimes it's in the spaces between that real appreciation blooms. Just like a beautiful melody with moments of silence, your presence becomes more memorable when you allow brief moments of absence. Let them feel the subtle shift. Let them lean into the quiet and notice the weight of what you bring. They'll crave the warmth, the connection, and the energy you add to their life, all because you gave them room to feel it. Here's your affirmation: I am felt even in my absence. Write it down in the comments and let this become your truth. Let it remind you that your presence has power even in small, intentional spaces. If this message resonated, please give this video a like. It shows that our effort to bring you life-changing insights is making a difference. And if you're ready for more steps on this journey, subscribe to the channel. We're only scratching the surface of your potential, and there's so much more waiting for you. Number 3. Showcase controlled vulnerability. Let down your guard just a little. Have you ever noticed that when someone reveals just a hint of their inner struggles, it draws you closer to them? It's as if a crack appears in a carefully built wall, and suddenly you feel like you're seeing something real, something genuine. But here's the key: too much vulnerability can feel overwhelming, and too little can make us seem distant. That's why there's immense power in controlled vulnerability, the art of letting down your guard just enough to create connection while maintaining the allure of mystery. Imagine your vulnerability as a delicate lockbox with a single crack that allows a glint of light to escape. This small crack doesn't reveal everything inside, but it hints at depth, inviting others to lean in, to wonder, and to want more. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." By sharing select moments of vulnerability, you allow others to see flashes of your inner world without giving them a full view. This balance creates an emotional magnetism, pulling others toward you without overexposing yourself. Controlled vulnerability isn't about pretending or manipulating. It's about being genuine in small, carefully chosen moments. Instead of presenting yourself as flawless, show a sliver of your humanity, a missed opportunity, a small mistake, a personal lesson learned. It's like revealing a scar, something that speaks to your journey without displaying every wound. By doing this, you become more relatable, more real. People are naturally drawn to authenticity, but they're even more drawn to mystery. So, give them both in just the right measure. Consider this. You're at a social gathering, and everyone's talking about their achievements and successes. Instead of following suit, you share a small story about a time you learned something the hard way, maybe a failure that taught you resilience. Instantly, people around you are intrigued. They feel connected to you not because you told them everything, but because you showed a piece of yourself that wasn't perfect. This controlled revelation, this small crack in the wall, creates trust and fascination without giving away the entire story. Controlled vulnerability works because it provides just enough of a window for others to feel they understand you, while leaving them wanting to know more. It's like reading the first chapter of a captivating novel. It pulls you in, but you have to keep reading to find out more. The allure lies in the fact that they can sense there's more beneath the surface, and they'll crave the opportunity to see beyond that first glimpse. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By carefully choosing what you share, you're not asking for their sympathy or attention. Instead, you're allowing others to feel a desire to understand you more deeply. This creates a stronger connection, one rooted in respect and intrigue, rather than in a plea for validation. Controlled vulnerability is a form of self-confidence. It's knowing that you're enough, even with a few imperfections. And when you allow others to see a piece of your humanity, they recognize their own within you. This subtle tactic can be a game changer. When you embrace your own imperfections without making them the focus, you invite others to do the same. In a world obsessed with perfection, being real, even just a little, makes you stand out. I am a mystery worth exploring. Write it in the comments below and let it remind you of your power. When you carry this mindset, people will feel the pull to understand and be closer to you. They'll crave your presence, not because of what you reveal, but because of what you leave unseen. If this message resonated with you, please like the video. Our goal is to bring content that inspires and empowers, and your support means everything. And if you're ready to learn more about creating connections that truly last, hit subscribe. This journey is just beginning, and there's so much more ahead. Number 4, reverse the predictability trap. Keep them on their toes. Have you ever felt like your presence has become predictable, like a clock ticking on the wall? Maybe you're always the one who texts at the same time, brings up the same topics, or reacts the same way. At first, they might have found it comforting, even endearing, but over time, the routine settles in, and what was once special starts to feel expected, even overlooked. Here's the truth. If they know exactly what you'll do next, they might stop truly seeing you. The magic fades, the excitement dwindles. So, how do you bring that magic back? How do you make them crave your presence? The answer lies in keeping them on their toes, breaking free from the trap of predictability. Imagine a familiar song that you've heard so many times, it becomes background noise. You once loved every beat, but now it's just part of the scenery. But what if one day that song suddenly had a new twist, a subtle change in rhythm, a surprise beat, a fresh harmony? Your attention snaps back. You start listening again, wondering what's coming next. This is exactly how unpredictability works in relationships. By adding that unexpected beat, you shake things up, capturing their attention in a way they can't ignore. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When someone can predict every thought, reaction, or move, you begin to lose that vibrant color in their mind. But when you add an element of surprise, something that breaks from routine, they start to think about you in new ways. You reclaim their curiosity, and with it, their desire. So, how do you create that spark of intrigue? Start by adjusting the small things. If you're always the first to text in the morning, let a day go by without reaching out. If you always reply instantly, take a beat, let them wait. This isn't about playing games. It's about shifting the dynamic to remind them that you're not just an accessory in their life. You're a person with your own rhythm. It's the pause, the unexpected beat, that brings them back to listening. Think of this technique like the ocean. The waves follow a rhythm, but no two are exactly alike. Some are soft, barely brushing the shore, while others are powerful, crashing with force. This unpredictability makes the ocean captivating, unforgettable, impossible to ignore. When you show subtle variations in your responses or your presence, You bring that same allure to the relationship. You become someone they can't quite predict. Someone who holds an element of surprise. This unpredictability keeps you fresh in their mind and keeps their attention fixed on what you'll do next. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." When you are consistently unpredictable, they begin to crave more of you, not because you're always there, but because they're never sure what to expect. You give them just enough to keep them engaged, leaving them wanting more. The person who thought they knew you starts to feel a pull, a desire to reconnect with the parts of you they can't quite pin down. Suddenly, they're not just assuming you'll always be around. They're hoping you'll be. The beauty of this approach is that it isn't about becoming a different person. It's about letting the many layers of you show, sometimes lighthearted, sometimes deep, sometimes responsive, other times reflective. By bringing your full, multi-dimensional self to the table, you shake up the routine, making each moment with you feel like something they want to be part of. Your presence becomes something they crave, not out of convenience, but out of true interest. Now, let's claim your power with an affirmation to set this transformation into motion. Say it with me. I am a captivating presence that keeps them on their toes. Write this in the comments. Let it sink in, and believe it. This is the truth of who you are, a dynamic, intriguing person worth craving. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like. It takes dedication and care to bring you life-changing insights, and your support means the world. And if you're ready to continue this journey with us, hit subscribe and join our growing community. Let's keep evolving together, one powerful step at a time. Number 5, the silent compliment technique. Actions speak louder than words. Have you ever felt a pull towards someone, even though they barely say a word? Maybe it's the way they look at you or the quiet gestures that speak volumes. These silent compliments often go unnoticed at first, but they leave an impact far more powerful than words. It's a subtle approach, but one that makes others crave your presence without you ever having to say a thing. This is the silent compliment technique, where your actions become more memorable than words, and where appreciation is felt, not just heard. In a world where words are thrown around easily, silent compliments create a mysterious depth. Picture a calm lake, its surface still yet holding a profound sense of peace. You don't need to see its depths to understand its beauty. Similarly, silent gestures and meaningful glances can express admiration without needing to vocalize it. When you make others feel valued without overt praise, you become like that lake, quietly captivating with layers waiting to be discovered. Seneca once wrote, "Speech is the mirror of the soul. As a man speaks, so is he." But what if the mirror is silence itself? By choosing not to verbalize every compliment, you create a sense of intrigue. Instead of flooding them with words, you give space for imagination. In that silence, they'll start wondering, what do they really think of me? Why do they look at me like that? Suddenly, your presence becomes an enigma, something they feel drawn to explore. Subtle gestures, lasting impact. The beauty of silent compliments lies in their simplicity. Instead of telling someone they look great, you linger just a second longer, allowing a subtle smile to convey your appreciation. Rather than verbal praise, try letting your body language do the talking. Lean in when they speak, give a warm glance, or nod thoughtfully as they share something important. These small gestures become engraved in their memory, creating an impact far deeper than words alone could ever achieve. Think about it. Compliments can sometimes feel transactional, almost expected. But a silent compliment, that's a hidden treasure. It's like seeing a rare flower in a forest. It wasn't placed there for attention, yet it catches the eye precisely because it's subtle and rare. When someone senses your appreciation through silence, it becomes something they can't quite grasp, and that's when they start to crave it. They wonder about your true thoughts, seeking more of that subtle validation they only get when they're with you. Body language as a language of admiration. Our bodies communicate in ways that words can't. A brief but sincere smile, a slight touch on the shoulder, or the way you look at them when they're speaking. These are your silent compliments. They may not consciously realize it, but they'll start to feel a unique energy around you, an undeniable sense of being valued. It's as if you're leaving a soft echo in their minds, one they'll replay without even knowing why. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." By choosing to compliment through silent gestures, you allow others to create their own interpretations of your appreciation. It lets their imagination fill in the gaps, which means they'll remember you in a way that's unique to them. And when someone begins to think about you on their own terms, they start craving the presence that brings out these subtle emotions. Actions over words, making an unforgettable impression. The silent compliment technique isn't about withholding praise or being cold. It's about showing that your admiration doesn't need to be shouted. Think of yourself as a painter using delicate strokes. Each glance, every smile, every pause. These are brush strokes, creating a masterpiece that's more powerful for its subtlety. You're not creating something obvious. You're leaving hints that others have to lean in to understand. And in that leaning, they grow closer to you. Imagine someone replaying your silent gestures in their mind, recalling the way you looked at them, the way you listened, the subtle ways you made them feel special. These moments will linger far longer than any words, building an emotional connection that grows stronger each time they remember. Now let's embrace this with a powerful affirmation. Say this to yourself: "My presence speaks louder than words." Write it in the comments below. Claim it as your truth. Let your quiet strength and genuine admiration become something others crave. And if this message has resonated with you, if you're ready to bring this powerful change into your life, please give this video a like. Your support means so much to us as we strive to bring life-changing content your way. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the powerful techniques we have lined up for you. This is only the beginning of your journey. Number 6, become their intellectual oasis, food for thought. Have you ever felt the thrill of a truly engaging conversation, the kind that leaves you inspired, thoughtful, and maybe even changed? Now imagine if you could be that person in someone else's life, a rare source of fresh perspectives and deep insights. When you become an intellectual oasis in their world, you're not just another voice. They'll crave your presence, seeking you out to quench a thirst they didn't even know they had. In a world of surface-level exchanges, you can be the refreshing stream of substance and depth they didn't realize they were missing. Creating space for thought and depth. Most conversations are predictable, like well-worn paths through a park. But being someone's intellectual oasis means offering a trail through an uncharted forest, full of curiosity, insight, and moments that spark genuine reflection. You're giving them food for thought, nourishment for their mind and soul that stands out from ordinary interactions. Consider yourself like a beacon in a sea of mediocrity. When you offer ideas, questions, and insights that challenge their perspectives, you give them an experience that's truly unique. Picture it as a campfire in the dark wilderness. While most conversations flicker like dimly lit candles, your words are the warm, inviting blaze that pulls people close. They'll sit beside you, drawn to the comfort and light that only you provide, seeking out that warmth of thought-provoking dialogue every chance they get. Why is depth magnetic? There's an old saying by Socrates, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This echoes why intellectual depth has a magnetic quality. People crave moments that make them feel more connected to their own thoughts, their dreams, and their challenges. When you bring substance into a conversation, you're giving them an opportunity to reflect, question, and connect with parts of themselves they often leave unexplored. Instead of merely talking about what's new, try asking, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or, "What do you feel truly passionate about?" These questions may feel small, but they're the seeds of deep conversation. They encourage people to think, to dig deeper than they usually would. It's not about being overly serious. It's about creating moments that make them stop and feel seen, heard, and valued. Imagine a rare flower that only blooms at night. During the day, it's just part of the landscape, but at night, it releases an enchanting fragrance that draws people to it. When you offer someone a genuine, thoughtful exchange, you become that rare bloom, unforgettable in their mind, the person they look forward to talking to when they crave something more meaningful than small talk. Anchoring in Stoic wisdom, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you serve as someone's intellectual oasis, you subtly influence the color of their thoughts, enriching their worldview and offering clarity they may not find elsewhere. You're not pushing them toward a particular idea or opinion. Instead, you're giving them a place to discover their own truths, to dive into ideas that matter. This doesn't mean you need to be a philosopher or have all the answers. It's more about creating a safe, stimulating environment where they feel free to explore their own ideas and beliefs. When you provide this intellectual space, people feel connected, intrigued, and drawn to your presence in a way that's hard to ignore. Give them room to wonder and reflect. Being an intellectual oasis isn't about overwhelming them with endless facts or theories. It's about providing the right balance between insight and space. The goal is to leave them wanting more, to give them something to think about after the conversation ends. They'll find themselves replaying your words, contemplating your questions, and wanting to come back for more of that mental refreshment. Think of it like offering a taste of an exquisite dish. They'll savor it, remember it, and come back hungry for more. Every interaction should be a chance to leave them feeling refreshed, grounded, and more connected to their own thoughts and feelings. So, here's your affirmation for today. I am the intellectual oasis they crave. Write it in the comments below, make it your truth, and claim this ability to bring depth and meaning to every interaction. Embrace the power you hold to create meaningful connections that others will seek out time and again. And if this video spoke to you, if it gave you insights and a fresh perspective, please take a moment to like it. Your support helps us continue bringing you this life-changing content. And don't forget to subscribe, because there's so much more ahead on this journey. Together we'll learn to live, think, and connect in ways that leave a lasting impact. Number 7, build a unique emotional anchor, a one-of-a-kind connection. Have you ever shared a moment with someone that was so unique, so personal, that it felt like it belonged only to the two of you? That's the power of an emotional anchor, a one-of-a-kind connection that's impossible to replicate. When you create a shared memory, a signature phrase, or even a recurring inside joke, it becomes a part of you that they'll find nowhere else. It's like a melody that plays only for them, echoing in the background of their mind long after you're gone. Suddenly, a simple phrase or a small gesture becomes a reminder of you, pulling them back into the connection you've carefully built. Think of an emotional anchor, like planting a rare flower in someone's garden. Every time they see it, they're reminded of you, and with each passing moment, its roots grow deeper. This unique emotional anchor becomes a quiet bond that endures, making you unforgettable in a world of fleeting interactions. As philosopher Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. By creating a special moment in the present, you become a memory they hold close, regardless of where life takes them. You have the power to be that rare, irreplaceable presence. So embrace your worth and let the connection you create be unlike anything they've ever known. Number 8. Master the art of the unexpected follow-up. Keep the ball rolling. Have you ever had someone bring up a tiny detail from a past conversation and it stopped you in your tracks? Suddenly, you feel seen, valued, and a bit mystified, wondering, they remembered that? This is the art of the unexpected follow-up, a subtle yet powerful move that shows attentiveness without being overwhelming, leaving an imprint they can't shake. Imagine yourself as a gentle wave lapping against the shore. You retreat for a time, only to return with something meaningful. Maybe they once mentioned a favorite book or an upcoming event. After a thoughtful delay, you casually bring it up. This tiny gesture doesn't just show you care, it keeps the conversation alive, making them feel truly valued. It's like planting a seed that blooms unexpectedly, surprising them and sparking warmth when they least expect it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." When you remember the small things, you're reminding them of life's subtle beauty, of a world that pays attention, and of a connection they didn't fully realize they were craving. If this video resonated with you, if it sparked something deep inside that feels new, powerful, and true, please take a moment to show your support. We pour our hearts and endless effort into creating this content to help you unlock your fullest potential and see the world and yourself in a transformative light. Your likes and subscriptions are not just numbers. They're the fuel that drives us to keep delivering life-changing insights, helping you step into the confident, magnetic person you're meant to be. So, if you're ready to keep growing with us, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Together we're building something incredible.